Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Fadash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, great millstone, and salutations of brothers pushing this word in truth and sincerity and with charity and risking their lives and freedom to do so. This is your brother Yanagai, come from the great millstone, Chicago camp, coming at you with another lesson, low one's edifying. Quick scripture of the day. It's a video I'm going to go ahead and share with you brothers and go ahead and follow it with a scripture. But it's here, man. That's it. It's all about gradualism. All right, whether they stay here for a short period of time or a long period of time. Whether they stay here for a short period of time, they'll be back. You know, if they stay here for a long period of time, they're never gonna leave. All right, this is it. This is martial law, man. All right, call halon la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, this is what the prophets from the apostles and elders on down been prophesying, man. All right, Romans 3:3, whether you believe it or not. All right, at first it started, Trump sent them to D.C. Now he's sending them over here to Chicago. And soon they're going to be all over the fucking cities of Babylon, man. All right, these that desires to go into a city and not be able, as scripture says, man. All right, and this reminds me of a movie I once watched with Justin Timberlake, an old school movie. But basically, you get paid with time. You know, the money, no longer money, but they had a clock, embedded into their arm. And every time they get paid, it increases the clock. And, if you run out of time, that's it. Your time is up. You die, And I remember one scene, he was trying to go into, he was broke. He didn't have that much time. He was just working from time to time, like check to check. But some dude gave him a lot of time, all his time, which was a lot of time. I think it was like years. And with that time, he was able to go to different cities to travel because they had like cement borders, and you'll have to tap your arm and they'll take away a certain amount of time and you'll be able to travel. All right. And this is basically what it is, man. Hey, man, call along like y'all about Yahushai. This is the MOTB. They're going to push all that is going to come. And I really, feel like they might do the same, without that. But it's not going to be time. It's going to be with the MOTB, the CHIP. If you don't have that CHIP, you cannot travel. All right. So we'll go ahead and play this video.
Well, we begin with an eruption of violence in Chicago. Overnight, 5 separate shootings across the city left one 25-year-old woman dead, 7 people injured, including a 17-year-old who was shot multiple times. The violence stretching from the south side to the west side, and as of yet, no suspects are in custody. And it comes as ICE is now preparing a major enforcement operation in Chicago next week. This is part of the president's crackdown on sanctuary cities. The White House now targeting cities that limit cooperation with immigration authorities, calling them a public safety risk. Now, city officials say they haven't been contacted by the Trump administration as of yet, with Governor Pritzker calling this an invasion. Mayor Johnson just now signing an executive order in response to the possible deployment of the National Guard in Chicago. The order demanding President Trump abandon his plans to deploy the troops. Mayor Johnson also warning residents to prepare for the, quote, escalating threats from the federal government. The White House just now responding to that executive order, saying Democrats should stop doing, quote, publicity stunts to criticize the president, urging instead for them to work with the federal government. News Nation national correspondent Mills Hayes is live in Chicago with all the details on this one. Mills.
Hi, Kelly. Well, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signing that executive order earlier today and saying to the Trump administration to stand down from any military deployment like the National Guard here in Chicago. That executive order banning Chicago police from working with federal agents on patrols, on any kind of civil immigration enforcement, and any arrest operations that they may do. The order also urges federal officers in Chicago to not wear masks and to use body cameras and to also identify themselves with names and badge numbers.
Well, one of the things that it does is it ensures that there's a clear distinction between our local police department and federal agents. It gives a very clear directive, but it also gives very specific directives to our law department to make specific FOIA requests so that if there's any immigration enforcement that's happening in our city, we have to know about it.
The order demands Trump refrain from deploying military forces to Chicago for immigration enforcement. Border czar Tom Homan telling News Nation plans to send them to a naval base north of Chicago is being discussed at the White House. A White House spokesperson responding to this new executive order saying, quote, if these Democrats focused on fixing crime in their own cities instead of doing publicity stunts to criticize their president, their communities would be much safer. Cracking down on crime should not be a partisan issue, but Democrats suffering from TDS are trying to make it one. They should listen to fellow Democrat Mayor Muriel Bowser, who recently celebrated the Trump administration's success in driving down violent crime in Washington, D.C. Now, the main difference here is that Chicago is under the city's control. In D.C., the president there has federal authority, so we're likely to see some challenges in the court, legal challenges similar to what we saw in Los Angeles when the National Guard was deployed there to dispel some of the unrest that was caused by protests over those ICE raids that were happening at work sites around the LA area. So a lot to be looking out for in the next few weeks here, Kelly.
Well, we begin with an eruption.
Hey, call along like y'all about to see me outside, man. All right. It's the left wing versus the right wing, man. The Democrats and the Republicans are bumping heads, complaining about one side wants to enforce it and the other one says it's unconstitutional. And which it is. They want to go by that, but Esau doesn't go by his own fucking laws, man. All right. But this is it, man. Hey, this is Egyptians versus Egyptians, man. All right. And the scripture that came to mind is Mark 3 and 23. And he called unto them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. All right. Hey, call along like all about me outside, man. This is a kingdom divided. All right. And it's not only Chicago. All right. This place is falling. It's not it's spiritually falling, man, right now. And physically, man, the dollar's dropping. And people, this place has been seized, man. Yeah, shit. Biden opened it's been flooded with foreigners, man. All right, they're already here. All right. Now you got these people in their own home fighting against each other. So, and this is what the scriptures speak about, man. And you got people still lost in the sauce and still thinking, trying to Mawa, as the elder Malcolm calls it, make America white again. Hey, man, it's only going to get worse. All right? As days as no other, man. It's only going to get worse, man. This is just gradualism, and it's brewing. All right? So, let me read it again. I'm going to let off with that. Mark 3 and 24. And if a kingdom be divided, 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Call Lam La Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Long ones that find lesson in scripture today. Until next time, say shalom and a Bible ball.